So we welcome to Black, White, and Blue in the South, Miss Jessica Bright. She is a realtor with Carolina One Real Estate. But let me give a quick bio, and Jessica, you let me know if I've left anything out. But it's going to be that weird situation when you hear somebody talk about you. So Jessica was born and raised in Walterboro, South Carolina, with roots stretching from the front porches of Colleton County to the gateways of Jasper. She's a proud graduate of Clemson University, where she got her BS in health science, and the Medical University of South Carolina, where she became a neurosurgeon. No, I'm kidding. She got a master's in health informatics. She combines academic insight with real-world expertise, but she's also had some tremendous background in politics, and we're going to dust off that part of her life and explore it a little bit here today. Welcome to our podcast, Jessica Bright.
Yay!
Now, I know you're much in demand on the podcast circuit. Have you done a lot of podcasts before?
Yeah, I've done a few. I haven't done a lot. I'm not like y'all, but I'm well versed a little bit.
Yes, she is.
You look comfortable and you look fly, so we're happy to have you on our show.
Excuse me, wait. I just want to make one mental note so we don't let our viewers miss this and our listeners. Jessica is Jumelle's Sarah. I think that's important to know.
Oh my gosh, soror and what?
Delta Sigma Theta.
Delta Sigma
Gotta
Theta.
give that shout out.
Incorporated.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, Jessica,
You didn't know you was going to hang out with two elephants today.
He didn't know.
I'm always busting her about the elephant part, being a Democrat, and she's always wearing red elephants. I call her traitor every time I get a chance.
Oh, goodness.
Well, what I want to do is start us off by playing a video, Jessica, and I'm going to try to share this over the Zoom channels here. So just be patient with me, and I'm going to share this in Zoom so you can see what we are watching.
Yeah.
And, of course, I have no idea where the share button is. Hold on, more.
At the bottom.
There it is, green in the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to hit share, and I'm going to share screen 2. All right, Jessica, let me know if you're able to see that little video clip there. Do you recognize it? This is baby Jessica from 2016.
So it's 10 years. Like, I just turned 40. So, oh my gosh.
Okay.
Let's give this. Hey, you didn't need to confess that. Do you want me to bleep that out in post-production?
No, she looks good for 40.
I have to embrace it. Like,
I know some women are sensitive. All right, let's watch what she had to say way back in the day.
Okay.
And what got you involved in politics?
Honestly, it was the shooting of Emmanuel 9 and the death of Senator Clemente. After his death, my mom, she signed up and she ran for his seat, and being active within her campaign kind of catapulted my career as far as getting involved in South Carolina politics even more. I've been a Democrat all my life. I've been involved in the Democratic Party, but I've gotten more involved and more invested into the process.
And you're a Hilary supporter.
Yes, I am.
Why?
I'm a Hilary supporter because I believe that she's the one that's able to unify the party and actually secure us a win. I was originally a Bernie Sanders supporter, but then once I saw the gusto of Donald Trump, I then decided to look and decide what's the best interest for the Democratic Party.
Well, that was very wise words from a 30-year-old kid.
Yeah.
You were just a kid.
Yeah.
But that was an interesting introduction to how you got into politics. You talked about your mother. Give us a little background on that.
My mother is the current senator for Senate District 45. Look at me, 45. She
And who is that? Let's name names.
Senator Margie Bright Matthews.
Now, do you realize that I am this years old before I knew that that was the connection?
Are you serious?
I honestly had no idea, Jessica. This is brand new news to me. I had no idea.
You know what? Because they do a really good job of developing their own personalities in the political world. So I could see you not knowing.
Well, first of all, I don't know how Margie Bright Matthews is old enough herself to have a 40-year-old child.
She
So there's the mental disconnect right there. I thought maybe you were sisters or cousins, or maybe by marriage, some in-law action. That's your mama.
Bill, you're about to start some family drama because she's going to run with the fact that she's my sister. So.
Well, how fascinating. So, when you mentioned your mother ran for Senator Clementa Pinckney's seat, I didn't realize that was your mother who's sitting in that seat today.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Correct. Correct. The interesting thing, just how you dug up that photo, I think one of my Apple, memories was actually sitting in a church in Walterboro when he was helping then Vincent Shaheen run for office.
Wow.
So that's how long our roots with the connections with the family has gone. I think it was 2 weeks ago. It was about 14 years
Mm.
where he was campaigning to help Vincent. So I was like, oh my gosh, let's look at that. But another trip down memory lane.
Wow.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. So you were volunteering for Hilary at the time. Were you a DNC delegate back in 2016?
I was a DNC delegate
And what
for
does that
Hilary.
mean? Explain to our audience what that means to be a delegate. What responsibilities, what privileges do you get? If somebody wanted to be a delegate, what would they face?
So I'm start with if somebody wants to be a delegate, I think it's important for them to be active in their county parties because when I say active, that's with precinct reorganization down to coming to the county convention and actually running on the county level. There's several different ways that you could run on in the county to actually go to the state party to be a delegate. So I would encourage anybody that's interested to really start and get activated within your county parties. And that's finding your chairs, that's finding out your meetings and your precincts. So I started with that. And then I went to the state party convention that I think that was in May or March of that year. And I ran at large. Tips: have your speech together and actually read the bylaws because for running because there's several different seats in order to be a delegate. It could be based on age, your sexual orientation, and different standards that are published by the party. I
And do
did
the
that.
party
And you
members
also
at large, like all 1,000 of them, let's say all the delegates, get to
correct.
vote on you?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, see, it's broken down. So you have Clio, and then you have your different congressional areas. They have certain amounts of delegates. I signed up for everything because except for Clios. Clios are people that are actually elected leaders. So you can't do that unless you are an
What does
elected leader.
PLEO stand for? Do we know? All right, we'll
Sounds
look
like
that
Party
up.
leadership elected. What was O?
ooh.
Oh
I
my God.
forgot.
Oh my God, sounds better.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's like special privileges for those already elected into leadership, so they kind of get the shoe in for the seats, while everybody else has to compete for their spots.
I guess so.
Okay.
I'm not sure without reading it
Yeah.
again. But that's the whole thing with you run and you can run as your criminal. I was selected at large. I did not win Pleo, but or Pleo or either in my congressional district. So that's
But you
how I
did
got
win,
there.
right? Or
Yes, I
at
did win.
and you froze up for a second, so maybe we didn't hear. But how did you get
Huh?
elected? You froze up for a second there, so maybe we didn't hear. How did you get elected into the delegate
Oh
position?
no, I got elected as at large,
Okay.
Mm.
and that was pretty much at the end of the convention where you just pretty much stood up and said your speech and went from
So does
there.
that
Mm.
It
mean
was
you
a great
got to go
opportunity.
to the
So this,
national convention with Hillary?
yes,
Where was
yes,
that
that's what I
year?
was going to say. That was in Pennsylvania,
Was it right there in Philly?
Philadelphia.
Oh man,
Yep,
that would have been
that
a
was in
blast.
Philly.
That's my home city. I would have loved to have gone to a national convention in Philadelphia.
Wow.
What was that experience like for
It was
those that have never made it and just see it on TV? What was it like being there?
um, it was electrifying. It comprised of being in the actual arena. It was amazing. We did have a few hiccups. Was my first national convention that I had, and there were some protests that shut down the train station that brought us in. I think it was on night two when I think it was Obama speaking or something. Don't quote me on that, but which caused a lot of the delegation to have to walk
Who
from.
was protesting?
This was from, yeah, it was the Sanders campaign that was protesting.
Wow.
Oh, that's interesting.
Now, had they
And it
already
shut
done the
down.
roll call and did the nomination? Or does that not happen until the end? I'm thinking maybe that
Roll
happens at the
call
end.
happens.
No,
Yeah, roll call happens near the end.
Okay.
It's like
oh
night
no.
two.
Because I know I watched Bernie give his concession there on the floor as the states started putting forth their delegates. I actually saw the clip of Bernie,
Yes.
kind of interrupting the proceedings and then saying that he withdraws and gives his support to Hillary Clinton. It was a very emotional moment.
Oh wow.
But I was watching a documentary this past week
It
from Michael Moore.
was.
You know Michael Moore?
Yes.
He did a documentary called Fahrenheit
Yes.
11/9, which was kind of a flip on the 9/11
Yeah.
documentary he did, but this was about the election of Trump.
Oh.
And I learned so much from that video. I encourage everyone to watch it, even though
Okay.
it's kind of ancient history right now. I mean, it's from an election about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But you wonder why the Bernie supporters were so mad. You get a compelling argument and see why.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
I mean, it really, the way the system was organized, I'm going to get into all the gory details, but the way the system was organized, the voice of the people truly was suppressed in favor of a group of super delegates that didn't represent anybody. They were just there on their own and carried a lot more weight than the delegates that were voted in by people.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be interesting to
So,
watch.
maybe I'll pull a clip of that up in a future episode, but it's
Yeah.
certainly worth a watch.
Okay. Cool.
It is interesting because I can remember being in that arena and some of the things that they were chanting was like, we don't want tariffs.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds.
Some of the issues that we were talking about,
Wow.
um,
Were you chanting that you didn't want ICE
unfortunately came
agents in
to
our city
fruition.
streets? Did you chant that? I mean,
Oh,
how prescient was this?
I don't think we talked about that. We didn't have the foresight then to
Yeah.
know that that would be happening now. So
Okay, I can't help but just imagine hearing her mama talk. She's
Yeah.
got the same voice.
Yeah.
It's eerie. You have to understand. I watch all the committee hearings. I watch them all.
So he's fanboying right
I've
now.
watched hundreds of hours of committee hearings, so I know
my
their
God.
voices, and I just close my eyes and I'm hearing your mom speak. So
Yeah.
let me get off that for a second.
Yeah.
I'll have to cope. You're your own person. I know.
Yeah.
that.
okay.
Yes, Bill, she is.
Well, that was really interesting. So that
Right.
was your foray into, and what a way to enter into the world of politics, to go to a national convention. And then you
Yeah.
ran state campaigns
Yeah.
for Bernie Sanders, didn't you?
Yes.
What were the states? Was it here in South Carolina?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
Wow.
South Carolina and in Ohio. Ohio was another emotional place. South Carolina was emotional because it was, we were here and we
Now, was this
made
his first
significant
campaign or his
grounds
second one?
compared to the second
Okay.
the second campaign. We made significant ground, like gaining grounds than his first campaign, despite having a whole slew of other candidates in it. We actually out knocked doors with turnouts, but again, we came up a little short. And then my team, we moved to Ohio. In Ohio, we were planning a rally the day that we shut down because of COVID.
Oh wow.
So it was very interesting. We were
Wow.
planning it. I think it was near the Cleveland Browns Stadium or whatever, and we had to shut down because of COVID.
Wow. So that was the 2020 election. So you were involved 2016 with Hillary, 2020 with Bernie. And even after Bernie didn't get the nomination and President Biden ultimately got the nomination and won that election, you were not done with the politics. What was your next big move in 2021? Emerge. Emerge.
Yeah.
Yeah, emerged, but Bill, I was also a delegate the second time, but I think it was virtual, so it was a unique experience. But yeah, emerge. No, it wasn't just emerge. I did other things outside of that. I worked for Green for All, which kind of organized South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. This is Van Moody's organization, and I specifically worked on the solar and working with different legislators in those areas to actually organize, but also promote and communicate the need for cleaner energy.
Mm.
And prior to that, I did work for the Progressive Turnout Project, and I was a political coordinator, and I was responsible for half of the United States. My connection looks like you. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I got an alert that my connection was unstable. So with that, it was really going out to the different congressional or connecting with the different members of Congress and looking at who was running and evaluating them. Giving, we had to do our due diligence and background, but also we provided um, questionnaires in order to get endorsements and coming up with the questionnaire requirements. This was a great experience because this was like the first time in which the Progressive Turnout Project was actually providing endorsements and actual boots on the ground to candidates that they felt aligned with their mission, which was voter turnout and also some of the progressive values of not suppressing or trying to, some of the things that we lived up to. And with the Progressive Turnout Project, I had the opportunity to actually go to Virginia and canvas
Wow.
for some. So then came Emerge. So yeah, you asked the question, then came Emerge. I want to make sure.
Yeah, so Emerge is actually how I came to know Jamil because she had just started showing up to the local county party meetings
Yeah.
as per your advice. I was the chair at the time, and she was looking to run for office, and I'd been on the email list for Emerge and got the information about the class, and I turned you on to that
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
And then you graduated. So the question our listeners want to know is what kind of student was Jamil? Was she really like a raw material you had to sculpt, or did she come out with a lot of potential? Did you have to discipline her at any time? I kind of want to know the
No,
inside, so don't hold back.
no, I have to say something. Jamil was fantastic. The whole cohort was built around different women with all different viewpoints, but they were very vocal,
Yeah.
passionate, and they brought a wealth of knowledge about from their community, and especially Jamil. It was about her community, but also her background in education and organizing and her. So she was amazing, but she was amongst a sea of other women that
Mm-hmm.
brought amazing talent. And I look forward to each and every one of them as they continue to bring stuff to the state of South Carolina because they were amazing.
If
Yeah.
she was your favorite, you can say so.
No.
I
It's a
can't
safe
say that
space.
she was low. Jamila, please tell me if I'm sorry. Like all of y'all were
It
great.
was a rock star class
Well,
for sure.
let's back up. Let's explain to our audience what Emerge SC is all about. Give a little description of that.
So oh, go ahead, Jessica. You take it.
No, you can go ahead.
No, I think you should.
Emerge South Carolina is I think I'm about to give the generic answer is a democratic training organization. They train, support democratic women running for office and let me back up. Anybody that identifies as a woman, so we don't we're inclusive. Um they're intentional about finding and selecting and supporting the new American majority, which spans over race, color, single mothers, and etc. So,
Yeah, and I would point out that every state has their own individual chapter, and Jessica was the executive director of the South Carolina chapter. And I want to point out some notable alumni of Emerge SC, some
Okay.
names you know. First of all, our friend Heather Bauer, who
Yes.
is now a state representative, Tamika
Yeah.
Isaac Devine, who is now a state senator.
Yes.
You also had Adair Ford Burrows, who ran for U.S. Congress, gave a great campaign, was not successful, but then she was appointed by President Biden to be the district or the state attorney,
Wow.
the federal attorney for the state of South Carolina, which is a huge position.
That's huge.
Some other names that we know: Mary Guerin, Angela Jeter, Crystal Matthews. She went to a boot camp. Amanda McDougall Scott from Greenville.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Jamil Brooks.
Yeah.
Now, I know I left out a bunch of other names of notable individuals, so if you want to fill in any others, Jessica, feel free, but it's a long list of notables.
It is.
Yeah, I think Bree Maxwell. She was one.
Yes, she
Yeah.
was one as well. Bree.
Shaterica, and the current executive director is Alan Santoratio. She also
Ah,
went through, and I still have to shout out everyone elected officials from my class, Commissioner Nico Brown
Yep.
and Councilwoman Benson,
Yeah.
that actually, so yeah.
it's a group to be very, very proud of. Is there not a male version of this group floating around that the
I don't know, and that is not my problem.
oh
Exactly. Exactly. Y'all good. We
boy, I
trying to make
tell
sure
you,
we got representation.
y'all know how to
Yeah,
organize. We disorganized. We men are just a lot of lone wolves out there doing our best. We need to organize. But I went to the graduation ceremony that Jumelle was part of, that
Yeah.
cohort you were talking about. Very, very impressed by the speeches, by the
Yeah.
camaraderie, the sisterhood that formed, the fact that you can make a call and talk to any of your
Yeah.
fellow alumni. Just a great group.
It is.
So how long were you the executive director of Emerge SC?
you know, I have to think two and a half, I think,
Two and a
Okay.
half.
if I was correct.
So that sounds like a really good term. Did you leave voluntarily or were you escorted out?
She would have not been escorted out.
I'm trying to get some angles here.
Stop it.
A lot to escort, right?
Yeah. You flipping tables and everything like
Right.
that.
Yeah, that's a lot to escort.
But not only did you run that organization for a little while, you also ran for office for a hot minute yourself. You want to talk about that?
I did. I did. I ran for which one? State House.
Yeah.
Yeah, State House. It was a special election when Senator Dion Tedder moved up. So I ran for a little bit and decided to withdraw, unfortunately.
Now, this was
But
before the primary even happened. You withdrew, right?
correct.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a great and fantastic woman in the seat that is bringing a wealth of knowledge and connections and advocating for individuals at the state house level.
So we're talking about Representative Tiffany Span Wilder in District
Yes.
109.
Yes.
And she's doing an amazing job. I've seen her get up and speak already, and you would think she had been there for 20 years already.
Yeah.
She's a natural.
Yes.
But both Jamil and I ran for office ourselves, so I like to talk to candidates a little bit behind the scenes about decision making, et cetera. What prompted you to throw your name into the ring, and then what prompted you to withdraw? Because that must not have been an easy decision either.
What prompted me to throw, I lived in that district for almost the 10 years that I've been in Charleston. And I've been active and involved with the party on that level in Dorchester Democratic Party, and then also statewide and nationally. So when that position came open, I was adamant when I ran, I will run for state house. Right. That's where I felt my impact. I can make the biggest impact with some of my skill sets and my knowledge. So that was my why. And then also we need more numbers in the state house, period. Because of everything that's going on, and you need people that actually know how to do the work and willing to actually show up for committee meetings and show up and research legislation and advocate and not just sit there just for the perks. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
What
Yeah.
perks?
Yeah. They got some because
Do
they
they
keep
got-
going back.
They got perks?
There's several elected officials that are just there, and yeah,
Okay.
that are just there.
Good job, Jessica.
I don't have that self-control. She just manifested right there. So
Did you see it? Did
I
you
am
see it?
very much in admiration.
That's a skill. You don't just
It
wake
is.
up with
I,
it.
I couldn't do that. My brain would launch right out of my eyeballs if I tried to do what she just did there.
Good job. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to pause for a second. We got a train rumbling in the background. I don't know if you could hear it through our mics.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, it stopped honking, so I think we're good to go.
Okay, let's go.
Well, by the way, we edit the snot out of these things.
Yeah.
So you can say whatever you want and repeat it, and we'll cut out the bad parts.
Yeah, I left that part out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So tell us why you decided to withdraw then. What was the decision making there?
It was how can I say this nicely? It was a difficult decision
Yeah.
for me. I had to evaluate what was best for the district and what was best for the state, but then also what was best for my family. At that time, I think I had a few health issues, and then also I was in the process of my only child going to college, and I just had to make the best decision to take care of myself and my family.
Yeah, you can't serve others if you're not serving yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
we do know that it's a
Correct.
sacrifice, but you have to be
Yes.
in a position to make that sacrifice. You're no good to anybody if you're in a coma from exhaustion.
Exactly.
All right, so we get that. So thank you though, and I'm sure as somebody who sat there and ran a group of prospective candidates themselves, for you to step up and say, "Listen, I'm just not all talk. I'm going to act,"
Yeah.
says a lot about your character. So you're not involved in politics currently, right? Tell us what you're doing now.
I'm selling homes, which is a whole political. I am selling homes, not just homes, actually residential and commercial. But just how everything has
Oh, it froze.
political tentacles. We can't go to the land that we stand on. So as of now, I'm not active politically, but I think I am still working on a few projects that are more community organizing with educating and empowering people about land trusts and keeping your property in your family, because we're in the middle of the biggest the transference of generational wealth.
Yeah.
So and I'm making sure my body is there. So I'm trying to stay the course and not, and what Jamil, would you say, practice restraint
Yeah.
in this field.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know a thing about generational wealth. My parents said nothing.
Yeah.
There was no generational wealth transfer to me. It was basically the reverse. I had to transfer up back to them.
No,
But
Bill.
that's what I'm saying. The transference is that the baby boomers
Yep.
are actually, expiring. I think that's the nicest way to say it.
That is.
But but there are opportunities, and in South Carolina, I met this young lady, and she had an impactful letter from her great grandfather. He was a farmer down here in Edisto, on hundreds of acres, and he wrote a letter to the president. And he, along with a few other farmers, black farmers, and they were begging them not to take their land.
Mm-hmm.
Which president was this that they wrote to?
I'll find you the letter, and
Okay.
I'll find you the details. But
Mm.
what has happened down here in South Carolina, especially for people with deep roots, we could like traceable roots, and people of color
Yeah.
that have worked this land and and brought forth a lot of wealth.
Yeah.
Me personally, I know that my grandfather helped build the majority of Edisto Beach.
Wow.
And right now, I think they might be a family of color that owns that land. So that's kind of the area. Yes, unfortunately, a lot of people of color, and I don't even think it's just people of color, period. It's an attack on the middle class
Yeah.
and people of
I was
color
going to say it's classism at its best.
Well, I'll
If
tell you this,
at
and
its
this is
best.
Yeah, if you don't have access, they will railroad you, and then that's what keeps the gap getting wider.
And gentrification. Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh. I
You
was
know,
yelling.
I read a post on Facebook. Somebody said, "Hey, me and my family are moving to Greenwood because my husband got a job there. Have anybody known about this apartment complex? Because it was going to be temporary living." And one of the responses on that said was, "It's not gentrified. I'm not sure if you want to go there." And I went, "What the hell?" That was a descriptor. It's not gentrified. And
they're not
that's
even
it.
using coded language anymore.
No,
They're just coming right out and
right out
saying
and
it.
said it's not gentrified, and I went, wow. And there were a lot of good, oh, it's a good place, really regulated. And then there was this one bold person who said it's not gentrified, and I went, well, damn, okay. Yeah. So the question is, what has happened in the state of South Carolina with people? Here's one of the things that I think you're probably finding out more, and this is something we probably already knew. I just know that the people who rank in the lower middle class and the people who are poverty stricken maybe should not have been there as long as they've been there. But the way the system is rigged, I call it the trap. It's hard for people to break the cycle and get out. For instance, in the letter that you're talking about, if a farmer had hundreds of acres of land that could have been left so he could have given each of his descendants an acre of land, that's the start. That's the seed for the generational wealth to continue to grow and be transferred. So we lose out on that. And then if we're not educated on the things that will help us keep that land and show us the value in holding on to that land and not selling it at the first offer we get, that's another thing. I have it's a little over an acre back in my hometown. I bought it because my aunt no longer lives in South Carolina, has been gone for years, and my goal will be to get all of it that they have, but she sold me this acre. I get calls from third-party vendors and text messages all the time. We see you have your land. Are you interested in selling? Are you interested in selling? And I'm saying no. And my husband said, what are you going to do with this land? And I said, nothing. It's ours. So if we ever need it, that's what we have. And so for black folk, is look at buying land as the next best gift and holding it. And don't take the first dollar that comes to you that says, I'll give you this for your land, because your land is worth so much more.
Well, you're not going to get an argument from a realtor here.
Yeah.
She's going to applaud that sentiment
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. But I think that's good,
Holding it and then also learning about the different tricks and making sure you pay the taxes.
Pay the taxes, girl.
And then,
oh my
and
God.
then
Yes.
pay the taxes, and then also what is blowing my mind in a positive way is learning that you could put it in a trust and you could have a life insurance policy that is designated to the trust that will pay the taxes
Yes, Lord.
and keep the land like I know that there was a game out there, weeds per se of it is outstanding. But the thing that I would employ any progressive or anybody from South Carolina to look at these opportunity zones.
Okay, and so because I know we're going to run short on time, but here's a couple of things, Jessica, that I don't want to leave without saying. But first, thank you from the bottom of my heart for you being you. Me venturing into even having that thought to run was something that I never would have done. I mean, you broke down so many barriers. You got me to the point to where I would actually tell a story, And so those were things that were important. So your footprint is covering every place. I mean, you've done well, so I don't want you to go without recognizing that. Even when I was on the campaign trail, one of the things I thought was interesting is Jessica still would reach out and say, how can I help you? How you're doing?
Aww.
And we're past that point, right? I'm out of Emerge, I'm out here, and she would still try to find time to reach out to say, here's some of the things you should consider. Have you reached out to this person
That
and that
is a
person?
genuine individual.
Yes, so, and that's what we need. But I want to ask you 3 questions, and then that will take me out. First question is, do you truly see, for new candidates, do you truly see the value in door knocking? Come on.
No. Yes and no. Yes and no.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Door knocking, it really depends on your area and how connected and if you're able to build a team that is reflective of the area, because I've had horror stories where people have showed up in different situations. So yes. No. The other part is my prediction. AI is going to drastically change how we campaign. Automated phone calls, gathering that data is going to affect organizing and how we organize with and utilize that. I think whoever whatever team that is able to successfully do that, they'll see significant impacts, because there are several different tools where you can call. You can have an AI person call and actually push out a script and gather information at a record pace. So AI is going to change the way we campaign.
Okay.
And it and whoever can figure it out and figure out a way to utilize it and give it to smaller campaigns,
Yeah.
not just the larger major campaigns, that will be game changing.
Okay. Next question.
Here,
If you, and this is kind of rapid fire, so that's why I said next question.
go ahead.
But
I'm sorry.
if you are a candidate and you were not successful in your race, and you were visiting all these places while you were running, and then you're not visiting those places, and you hear the trumble that says, well, we hadn't seen you, or we don't see you until it's election time, what would be your response to the individuals who say, where's the candidate now?
First of all, we are all human and we only have a certain amount of capacity. A lot of people don't understand running for office takes a lot out of you. And it's only right to give people empathy and give people grace to allow them to build themselves back up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if this is something habitual where every time, this person ran and this is a habitual runner and they only show up when it's time for election, that's a whole different story. But I think we as people that look at elected officials, we have to give them grace.
Yeah. Okay, good. Last question. This is what I'm really leaning in, like really hard to hear
Okay.
what you have to say. Tell me what you believe you see as the Democrats now, and what do you believe you will see as the Democrats in the future? What is your assessment of them now? What is your assessment of them in the future?
And you have 5 seconds to come up with a brilliant answer.
Okay. So what I see is Democrats now, we got a lot of work to do and we need to change leadership and we need to change the face of it to make it inclusive to everybody. Because they have, unfortunately, we have been silent for a good significant part of time, silent and silenced a lot of people that have worked really hard and advocated for us. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Good
that's what
answer.
I'm gonna say.
So
Yeah, I
I'll
think
conclude
so.
with one final. Is there any chance you'll re-enter this world of politics again? Because you are gifted
Yeah.
in thought and action. And I know you got to make a career and a family for yourself, but this state is missing out with
Oh.
you not being out there.
It is. It is, Jessica.
I will leave the door open.
Okay.
Good. Good.
Good.
Leave
So
it
you've
open.
just heard her announce her run for governor. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here
I'll
to
leave the door
interpret
open.
what I just
I don't
heard.
know, but I'll leave it open.
Okay.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you so much. It was an absolute delight to get to meet you, and hope we run into each other in person soon.
Yeah.
Thank you both for having me.
Take care and tell everyone we said hello.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Okie dokie.
Well, wasn't that wonderful?
Oh my gosh, she is such a sweetheart. And when I tell you the amount of knowledge that that lady has in that head about the political landscape, not just in South Carolina, but in these United States, is
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Indeed.